She got let go from her job, blindsided, no warning. And instead of shrinking, she built a business bold enough to charge $25,000 for her offer. Today, I'm sitting down with Denine Harper, a business growth strategist who doesn't flinch at asking for what she's worth. We get into the moment when we both got blindsided by getting let go. Two very different stories. One gut punch. She gets into why mentorship changed everything for her, and now a mentor herself. She believes the time to grow your business is not someday, it's now. What I found in this conversation is a founder who wishes she bet on herself a lot sooner and wants you to skip that wait entirely. You're going to love this one. Question for you. Based on you watching this, you're probably either trying to figure out how to make consistent income in your business or trying to get crystal clear on the actual problem that you solve instead of just guessing and hoping that everything lands. If that's you, I want to invite you to the Wildfire Offer Challenge. This is a 2-day live coaching experience with me done entirely on Zoom, plus access to a private community, and it's unlike anything else I offer. By the end of the challenge, you'll walk away with a high-ticket offer you're actually proud to say out loud. A sales conversation that feels like you, not a script, and a real plan to sell it one to many instead of exhausting yourself one call at a time. Yes, that means real consistent income, the kind that doesn't cap you out at $5,000. If any of this sounds like what you need right now, join the next Wildfire Offer Challenge. Scan a QR code if you're watching on a TV or click the link in the description below. Can't wait to see you in the room. Now let's get back to the convo. Denine Harper, welcome to Opportunity. I'm so happy that you're here. I started this series because I kept noticing that the most useful conversations are the ones that are candid and the ones that are really about the nitty gritty and overcoming those times when we doubt ourselves. And I'm trying to have those good conversations with good women like you. So today we're going to have a really good conversation. And before we dive in, I want you to tell everybody what you do and what you're building.
Well, hi, Ashley. Thank you for having me. I am a revenue growth advisor, and I started my business about 2 years ago. And what I do is I help companies grow, and that happens in a lot of different ways. I can figure out what their growth constraint is internally, or look for a new audience for them, look for a new geography, or help them launch new products and services.
Okay. When is it a good time for a business to care about growing?
Every time.
Right? Like every day.
Always.
I heard
Every
somewhere
day.
that, if you're not growing, you're dying. So I love to hear that from someone like you. And I guess I'm curious to know, when someone's one-person business, what's that first growth lever? Like what's a real unlock that, if you're sitting one-on-one with a client, what's that biggest hurdle, you think?
It's building your network and your personal brand. You have to really build that authority. Even if you've had authority in the past through other positions, jobs, titles, what have you, when you go out on your own, you're still kind of unproven. So building that personal brand, getting everyone to understand what you do and know that you're out there is another hurdle. So there's a lot of networking and conversation, LinkedIn posts and doing podcasts and newsletters and, all of those things that you need to do to be visible.
That is so, so good. That is really the unlock, because I feel especially when you're first starting out, you get into a silo, you get into a groove of just being on your own and being able to do it. But the truth is, nothing big ever grows by itself. You can't do it alone, right? So that's really good advice. I'm curious. Actually, I'm really curious about you, just because I'm like, I've been excited to interview you, but I'm curious, what was an opportunity that you took in your business before you knew that you were ready?
Launching it. It
Actually
was
starting.
I mean, I was at a company and they were acquired, and I was told I had a place in the company. So I was prepared for that. And then after the acquisition happened, I got a call or a meeting request by the VP of HR and the C-suite leader who I would have reported to.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into that call thinking I'm getting a promotion and there was a place for me. And instead they said, "Thank you very much. See you later."
Isn't that the worst? I've been let go before, and I remember it wasn't the same kind of scenario, but I remember I came into work and I was having a good day and I was all excited, all pumped up. And same thing at the end of the day, then I'm like, where is everybody? I look around and the office was empty and it was usually super bustling. And then my boss is like, hey, come in here. I step into the room and there's a colleague of mine is sitting in there. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, as soon as I stepped in, I was like, this is kind of awkward. I get in there, I
Yeah, this
sit
is
down, and I had never been let go before. And that was such a pivotal moment because that was the last time that I really worked for someone else. Right.
yeah, it's
So
jarring.
it's
And it
jarring.
makes you question yourself, your abilities, who you are, what your future is. You really have to look inward and try to figure out what your next step is. And it took me a few weeks.
I was going to say,
And
I was going to ask, how long did it take you to really muster up the courage to this is what I'm going to do next?
it took a little while,
Okay.
especially because two of the executives at the company tried to help me find other positions, and they introduced me to other companies and people in other companies, and I just wasn't emotionally ready to have
Mhm.
those conversations. I didn't have the mindset shift to really talk to them about who I am, what I want, where I'm going, because I was very conflicted about what I wanted to do. A lot of people talked to me and said, you should consult, you should start your own business, you should be a fractional. And I wasn't sure what a fractional was.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to start my own business. There's a lot of questions that go along with that. You have security when you work for a company, where when you go out on your own, you have to be able to sustain that for a period of time till you can build your business. So it was a lot of self reflection and a lot of talking to people that I knew and trust just to get up the self security, like
It's that
the
self-belief
the
to
ability to
muster up
say,
that
I can do
courage.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The courage to say, yes, this is what I want to do. And then when I did say, yes, this is what I want to do, I also had a lot of support.
Okay, that's good. Tell me, what were you doing before? Because you've worked with some big wigs. Like, I really think that at some point you did get that belief where you were like, you know what? No, I'm a badass. Like, I could do this. All the things that need to be done with that business, with starting a new business. So sales and figuring out your systems and figuring out who you're trying to serve. So tell me more about what you did before you started your business and like, what was it that really gave you the cojones to actually go after this?
Well, early in my career, I actually had a company with one of my teachers from college. We
Cool.
got along great and we freelanced together. So we formed an LLC. And then that kind of fell apart when the economy fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a job. Plus, I was married by that time, started to have children. So I wanted the security. So I worked for advertising agencies and I worked for a lot of the big ones. And that's where I was really introduced to really large clients like J&J, P&G, Harley Davidson, Sherwin-Williams. I worked with a lot of manufacturing companies, both on the B2B side and the B2C side. So I really learned a lot of expertise between both sides of the house. And that really played a pivotal role for me later on in my career. And
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of these companies had very complex go-to-markets and very complex channels, I always worked in this strategy realm. So I was either considered a planner or a strategist or a strategic account director. So I would help do the planning and a lot of the audience and market research and all of that. So I would come in ahead of time, help them plan it out, how they're going to go to market, who they're talking to, how big their market is, how much money they need to spend. And then I would come in after the fact and review all the metrics and help them optimize.
And that's the tough stuff. right? That's the tough stuff that entrepreneurs really don't dig into, I find. They don't dig into like what the market actually looks like and those metrics, the language that they're using. They don't do that market research that a strategist like you really needs to do in order for a business to have that growth, to have that longevity, right?
Yeah. So later, after I worked for agencies, I went to the brand side and I worked for T-Mobile during the whole uncarrier movement. So I started right after they were getting ready to go bankrupt, and AT&T was going to buy them, and the deal fell through. So they got infusion of like $1 billion.
Whoa.
So they decided to buy the company that I was working with, Metro PCS. So when they bought Metro, their goal was to grow Metro. So in 2 years, I launched 22 markets. I had 100, over 450 stores that were part of my purview. I expanded a lot of those markets. So I worked in the Philadelphia market and I expanded that region dramatically and then opened all of those different regions. So I was there for about 8 years, kind of saw that through. And then when they merged with Sprint, they eliminated my position across the board and said, hey, you can have this other position or you can have this big, juicy severance package.
Okay, which one did you take?
Well, I said, I really want to take the severance package.
Okay.
For 2 reasons. I was living outside of Philadelphia, born and raised there, lived there my whole life. We always loved the beach. We, had a boat and a place down the shore.
Mm.
So we wanted to move to Florida. So I took the package, moved to Florida, and COVID hit.
Nice. Well, I mean,
And there were no
Florida
job
was the
opportunities.
right place to be.
Yes. But I think when I took the job at T-Mobile, I had already kind of reached all of my career goals that I had set for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I moved to Florida, it was kind of a conscious decision. I knew I wasn't going to have the type of jobs available to me that I did in Philadelphia because Florida just doesn't have the metros and they don't have the companies surrounding you and the opportunities that you do in the Northeast.
It's so
So
true.
it was a very conscious decision to move down there. And I knew that I would probably have to take a step back, like title wise, but I was never really about titles. I'd been a VP, a director, a manager. So for me, it was about finding that work that I really loved. So I did do some freelance.
Share that. I love that you share that because it actually, to me, as someone who's talking to you today, it seems like work for you has always been like good work. You've always enjoyed the work that you do more so than chasing that money. And a big reason why I wanted to speak to you, why I wanted to interview you was because when I was researching you, I saw that you had a big ticket item on your website. Smack dab there, you were like, I charge 25 grand for this high ticket offer. And I just thought, how great is it to be that bold and to know your worth, to know the value that you bring to a business. If you're growing a business, if you're the lever that grows that business, you should be charging exactly what you need to be charging, right? So I just think it's so cool that for you, you always seem to be in the right place at the right time, and you always seem to be in work that you enjoy. And it's lovely to see that you're also getting paid properly for it, you know?
Well, thank you for that. But the big ticket item is that they're paying for all that experience that I built over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And the fact that I've been in a strategy role more than an execution role. So even though I was in marketing for my entire career, I have always been in a role that aligns business goals with marketing goals. And that's kind of, I don't want to say a dying breed, but there's not a lot of marketers that are trained now that have that overview, that big picture view, and the ability to work across the disciplines in an organization to really, really affect how revenue is generated. And I've just been very lucky in the roles that I've had and the experiences that I was able to really tap into now so that I can do that. That's really like, that's my kind of differentiator or my little superpower that not too many people have.
Yeah, I think that it's really important for us to seek counsel from people that actually have the experience and from people that have actually been trained and have actually lived it. I am a big believer that if you don't seek that advice, if you don't actually not even seek it, but if you don't implement it, if you don't take it, then it's really hard to get to that next level. And I think that especially when we're in business for ourselves and we have smaller businesses, you don't see that that's such a way to quantum leap your business, right? I don't know. I think that we're kind of at least I think it's a generational thing. I think that a lot of people think that they know better and that they can learn everything on YouTube when really and truly what we learn is by being in proximity of the people that actually have done it, right? All
I
right.
100% agree with you.
Love that. I love that. I want to know what's advice that you heard that you wish that you had taken sooner.
I wish I did this 10 years ago. I
Hey, like
really
your
do.
own thing?
Yeah, I wish I had done my own thing 10 years ago.
I
It was
love
very
that.
scary for me. I had so much anxiety, and I'm not an anxious person at all. Like, I am a make a decision, go get it, do it kind of person. I'm very tenacious. I decide what I want, I go after it. That's it.
I can tell.
But to do this was a lot of self reflection. It was a lot of, financial scare. It's just scary financially, no matter how you look at it. Like a small business takes 18 months to 2 years to really get a lot of traction. And you have to kind of self fund until that happens. And, when I moved to Florida, I bought my dream house. So, I stepped up from where I was before and I went from virtually having hardly any debt at all, like very, very little debt to having debt. And now I'm going, okay, I'm going to go start my own business. So that was scary.
Now's the best time.
Then the imposter syndrome. Yeah. And then the imposter syndrome sets in and your network is the one that, like, my network is what held me up. Every time I started really feeling doubtful or saying, is this worth it? Should I keep going? Am I going to be able to do this? My network is the ones that was like, yes, you can do this. Yes, I've seen you in action.
Yeah.
Yes, this is scary. Yes, you're going to get through it. Like all the things that I needed to hear. And that's how I keep going. And I still get imposter syndrome from time to time. I still get anxiety if, the clients aren't flowing in and downtime. Every time there's downtime, I start this, am I being visible enough? Is my messaging correct? What else do I need to do? How come I don't have work in my pipeline? And that's just part of the process. And you have to learn how to plan for that and, keep your mindset in the right place.
Yeah, it's crazy. We definitely all go through that. I think that that's something that everyone who's in business for themselves is constantly going through. And the more you level up, I feel like you think that that anxiety is going to go away, but the times that you end up with other employees, with other contracts that you have to fulfill, with all these different things that are on your plate, it actually gives you more anxiety, which is crazy. And I feel like people don't talk about it enough. But yeah, it's something that you just have to ebb and flow. You have to have a lot of faith in yourself and faith that the people that you need to serve will get in front of you. And you just need to stay there and stay ready for them to actually find you. So I love that. Thank you so much for coming, for being on my channel and for talking to me so candidly and for letting me ask the questions that I want to ask because, sometimes I like to get nosy and I appreciate it. I appreciate that you answered the call and all those things. So tell people where they can find you. What's your website? What's all the things? Tell me, Denine Harper. Tell me.
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can look up my name, Denine Harper. It's spelled a little differently, but
Okay.
I also have a website, dhxconsulting.com. And that's a little bit about me. You can find case studies, white papers, and, a good explanation of what I do.
all the good stuff that
Yes.
she could do.
And I also have a
in your business.
podcast called The Intersection, and you can find me there. It's on all the major streaming platforms.
Awesome. And we will. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.